The physician Marcus Green believed that he had seen everything. He had worked as a veterinarian for many years, during which time he had repaired broken legs, dealt with unusual growths, and helped animals through terrible goodbyes. He was used to having difficult days and making difficult choices. However, there was no way that he could have been ready for Lola. There was a chocolate lab named Lola who was pregnant when she showed up at his clinic one day. She was waddling in the door with her tail wagging, and she seemed to have no worry in the world. Due to the fact that Lola was a member of the family, and this was her first litter, her owner, Mrs. Thompson, seemed to be obviously anxious yet optimistic. This was a normal delivery that started. However, the mood in the room changed somewhat as soon as the pups entered the room. They arrived in groups of 4, 6, 8, and eventually 12 from the beginning. There were 3 black pups, 4 chocolate puppies, 3 yellow puppies, and 1 uncommon silver puppy that shimmered. The litter was enormous and tiring, and the puppies presented a kaleidoscope of hues. The group was awestruck by the mixture of 6 females and 6 guys. In my opinion, it was a miracle. On the other hand, the atmosphere changed. There was one of the pups that was lying still and making no sound at all. The term stillborn lingered in the air, which was a nightmare. In spite of Mrs. Thompson's horrified reactions, Dr. Green did not give up on the situation. In an effort to encourage the puppy to take a breath, he softly massaged its chest. It was then that the fatigued Lola rose up, stepped over, and used her nose to give her mute dog a gentle prod. It was a gentle and definitive touch, a mother's demand to continue living. This was successful. A slender breath was drawn by the little puppy, and then another one. Before laying back down with her litter, which was finally finished, Lola gave it a several comforting kiss. The puppy was given the name Miracle. On the other hand, however, the shocks were not yet finished. In the course of the first examination, Mrs. Thompson noticed that some of the pups were opening their eyes, while others were still closed. During his visit to their residence, Dr. Green brought to light a shocking discovery. Heterochromia was a condition that affected Miracle and her sister, whom they called Destiny. Miracle had 1 brown eye and 1 beautiful blue eye. Rarely only did they have the same distinctive white chest patch, but they also had curled tails, which is a characteristic that is rarely observed in Labradors with straight tails. It sparked Dr. Green's interest to learn more. DNA testing was his suggestion, and Mrs. Thompson was on board with it. The outcomes were really astounding. Magic and Destiny were monozygotic, which means they were identical twins. This is a phenomena that occurs in dogs so seldom that it was nearly assumed to be a myth until the first verified occurrence had occurred in 2016. In spite of this, the riddle was not yet completely resolved. Miss Thompson saw that Miracle and Destiny were developing at a rate that was noticeably quicker than that of their siblings. A comprehensive examination of the litter was carried out by Dr. Green, and the final findings gave the last piece of the jigsaw. Superfecundation was the phenomenon that occurred. There were 2 litters that Lola had conceived at the same time, and each of them was fathered by a different dog. These extraordinary occurrences provided an explanation for the huge variations in color, size, and development rates. Mrs. Thompson remembered with an embarrassed grin that during one of Lola's heat cycles, the dog had managed to have a short, unexpected adventure. This was Dr. Green's explanation of the situation. There was a joyful ending to Lola's tale, which included 12 pups who were healthy, a mystery that was solved, and an experienced veterinarian who was left in wonder. Dr. Green was aware that not every dog is as fortunate as he was. The incredible story of Lola serves as a powerful reminder of the need of spaying and neutering animals. This is not just to avoid unexpected litters, but also to guarantee that our pets enjoy longer, healthier lives, and to minimize the number of animals who are homeless. Each and every dog, whether it is a 1 in a million puppy like Miracle or a dog that is now waiting for a home at a shelter, needs to have a secure environment, a full tummy, and someone who loves them. The discovery of superfecundation not only solved a medical enigma, but it also started a new chapter in the story of Lola's extraordinary family. Following the dissemination of information on the 2-in-1 litter and the very unusual identical twins, the Thompson home became a household name in the community. A birth that was first considered to be regular has now become a narrative of genetic miracle. Over the course of many weeks, the distinctions between the two sublitters grew even more obvious. The pups spawned by the unknown father in the neighborhood were strong and stocky, and they had the typical temperaments of Labrador retrievers, te-were food-motivated. They loved water, and they were endlessly lively. They were slimmer, more nimble, and exhibited an intellect that was inquiring and almost contemplative. Miracle and Destiny, together with their siblings from the second father, were similarly characterized. Quite frequently, they would be discovered off to the side, tumbling together in a world of their own, with their eyes that were mismatched, seeming to be trying to communicate something. Mrs. Thompson found herself in the middle of a delightful dilemma. She needed to find homes for 12 pups who were all different from one another. She conducted interviews and house inspections with the same level of devotion as a royal matchmaker, despite the fact that she received an overwhelming number of applications throughout the process. She was adamant that each and every puppy, particularly the remarkable Miracle and Destiny, would be given to a family that recognized that they were not only acquiring a pet, rather they were becoming the guardians of a little piece of scientific marvel. The silver puppy, with its glittering coat, was the first to be adopted. He was given to a family that had a peaceful and expansive property where he could run about and be the focus of attention. The remaining chocolate and yellow puppies settled into their new homes, with families that were looking for a Labrador Retriever or Labrador Retriever. However, the condition of Miracle and Destiny was a particular source of worry. Both Mrs. Thompson and Dr. Green were of the opinion that isolating the twins was an almost unnatural experience. The relationship between them was evident. They slept in a single tangled ball of fur. They ate from the same bowl without any rivalry, and they spoke with quiet whuffs and yips that appeared to be intended solely for each other. After then, a solution seemed to show itself in the most appropriate manner. When the Wilsons, a couple of retired biology instructors, heard the tale, they were attracted not by the novelty of the thing, but by the science and the connection between the two of them. They resided on a huge property that had a pond and a lot of open space. They were aware of the responsibility that came with taking care of a live case study in canine genetics, and they wanted a dog more than anything else. They made an application to adopt both Miracle and Destiny, pledging to preserve a record of their growth and to ensure that the individual siblings would be together for the rest of their lives. An unremarkable victory was achieved on the day when the Wilsons arrived to greet the pups. As they approached the pair, Miracle and Destiny, who had matured into robust and lively teenagers, trotted forward to them with curious sniffs. In the meanwhile, one of them licked Mr. Wilson's hand, while the other rested on Mrs. Wilson's thigh. It was decided without a single word being said. A tear fell from Mrs. Thompson's eye as she saw the twins departing together, their curled tails waving in conjunction with one another. The conclusion was undoubtedly ideal. The Thompson household found themselves in a state of tranquility once the last puppy was put. Because she had been spayed, as Dr. Green had highly urged, Lola seemed to be pleased with the fact that she had her humans back to herself. She would often lay down in her usual location by the window, her kind nature still unaffected by the amazing journey she had just had. Over the course of a few weeks, Dr. Green was working in his office when he received a postcard. It was a picture of two adult dogs, one with a blue eye and the other with a brown eye, chasing each other across a field of wildflowers in a fun manner. The following was written on the back: Miracle and Destiny are flourishing. They still eat each other's meals in their entirety. I am grateful to you for everything. A grin appeared on Dr. Green's face as he moved the postcard to his bulletin board. Every single day, it served as a reminder that there was the possibility for something exceptional to occur behind every single record, every single diagnosis, and every single normal treatment. Lola's tale was more than just a medical abnormality. It was a demonstration of the resiliency of life, the strength of a mother's instinct, and the weird and lovely ways in which nature operates. He had intended to become a veterinarian so that he could help animals, but he discovered that sometimes it was the animals themselves who demonstrated to him how much more there was to be amazed about in the world.